The sting of social exclusion on a social media feed triggers the exact same neural circuitry as a sudden physical injury. It's not just a feeling, it's a biological alarm, a deep, primal mechanism sounding off in the most ancient parts of your brain, reacting to an invisible threat as if your very survival depended on it. This is not a metaphor. This is how your brain literally processes social comparison losses. Today, you will uncover the hidden workings of the status engine, a fundamental evolutionary mechanism that dictates far more of your emotional landscape than you could ever imagine, especially in the relentless digital realm. Understanding this engine is not merely about gaining awareness, it is about reclaiming agency over your well-being in a world designed to constantly exploit this innate vulnerability. We will decode why every scroll can feel like a biological defeat and arm you with the knowledge to navigate this profound challenge. For millions of years, human survival was intricately tied to belonging. Our ancestors lived in small groups where status, or one's position within the group hierarchy, was a direct predictor of access to resources, mating opportunities, and protection from predators. To be ostracized, to fall in status, was often a death sentence. Your brain evolved to treat social exclusion with the same urgency as a gaping wound, because in an ancestral environment, the consequences were similarly dire. This isn't some abstract psychological theory, it's a deep-seated biological reality. When you experience a social slight, a perceived demotion in status, or the pain of rejection, the brain activates regions typically associated with physical pain. The dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, or DACC, lights up. This area is a critical node in the brain's pain matrix, responsible for processing the distressing component of physical pain itself. Research by Eisenberger, Lieberman, and Williams in 2003, using functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, provided compelling evidence for this overlap. Participants who were excluded during a virtual ball-tossing game showed activation in the DACC, indistinguishable from the activation seen when people experience actual physical discomfort. Your brain, quite literally, perceives social pain as a form of physical pain. It's a cruel evolutionary trick, isn't it? A constant internal alarm system, meticulously honed over eons, designed to keep you tethered to the tribe. But what happens when that ancient system is unleashed into an environment where the tribe is a billion strangers and the status markers are entirely fabricated? This ancient, powerful mechanism, this status engine, is now running unchecked in an environment it was never designed for. Imagine a finely tuned sports car, engineered for a perfectly smooth, closed track, suddenly thrust onto a chaotic, unending, and infinitely competitive urban highway. That's your brain on social media. Algorithms, developed by brilliant minds, aren't explicitly trying to harm you, they are simply optimized for engagement. And what drives engagement more powerfully than our fundamental biological need for status and the fear of losing it? The architecture of social platforms weaponizes this vulnerability, turning every interaction into a potential status battle. Before, your social circle was small, your comparisons limited to a handful of people you actually knew. Now, you are bombarded with an endless, curated highlight reel of everyone else's perceived success, beauty, and happiness. The moment you open an app, your status engine roars to life. Consider two contrasting scenarios. Before the digital age, you might hear a friend got a promotion. You'd feel a pang of something, perhaps envy, but it was a fleeting thought, grounded in a tangible reality, followed by genuine congratulations. Your brain processed it as information, perhaps a minor social adjustment, then moved on. Now, imagine endlessly scrolling through an impeccably presented stream of aspirational lives, lavish vacations, perfectly plated meals, dazzling career achievements, and triumphant personal milestones. Each post, meticulously filtered and timed, becomes a tiny, subliminal data point that your status engine instantly processes against your own life. That pang of envy is no longer fleeting. It is amplified, sustained, and relentless. Your brain registers a continuous stream of social comparison losses, activating those very same physical pain circuits again and again. It's not just about feeling a little down. It's about your neurobiology triggering a stress response as if you were truly being cast out of the tribe. This constant, low-grade biological threat leaves you feeling drained, anxious, and perpetually inadequate. Research by Vogel and colleagues in 2015 demonstrated this direct link, showing that upward social comparison on platforms like Facebook significantly predicted increased depressive symptoms. Your brain interprets these digital signals of others' supposed superior status as personal setbacks, triggering cortisol release, activating your fight or flight response, and leaving you in a chronic state of low-level alarm. Every time you close the app, you feel not just tired, but perhaps inexplicably defeated, as if you've just run an exhausting, losing race. This knowledge changes everything, doesn't it? Understanding this deep biological link provides you with a profound advantage. You are not simply weak-willed when you feel the pull of comparison or the sting of digital inadequacy. You are experiencing an ancient, powerful system tricked by modern technology. But you can learn to manage this status engine, to quiet its incessant alarms, and reclaim your inner landscape. Here are 3 research-based techniques to help you do exactly that. First, implement a comparison audit. This is about intentionality. For a period of 1 week, meticulously observe which specific types of content, which accounts, and which platforms consistently trigger that feeling of inadequacy or anxiety. Is it the perfectly sculpted physiques, the extravagant travel photos, the glowing career updates? Once identified, take decisive action. Mute those accounts, unfollow, or even block if necessary. The goal is not to live in ignorance, but to curate your digital environment so that the information flowing into your status engine is either neutral or, ideally, genuinely inspiring rather than constantly triggering perceived social losses. Replace aspirational feeds with content that focuses on skill building, factual information, or authentic, less curated human connection. You will notice a significant decrease in the background hum of anxiety. Second, engage in what we call reframe social currency. The status engine thrives on external validation, likes, shares, comments, the visible metrics of popularity. Consciously shift your focus from these external, superficial measures to internal, meaningful metrics. This involves actively seeking out and valuing experiences that cultivate genuine competence and contribution, regardless of external recognition. For instance, instead of posting about a new hobby, spend that time actually mastering a new skill, learning a complex concept, or volunteering for a cause you believe in. The internal satisfaction derived from genuine accomplishment or meaningful contribution provides a deep, intrinsic sense of value that external metrics can never match. When your brain learns that true status comes from growth and impact, not fleeting attention, the urgency of the external comparison alarm diminishes. A study by Ryan and Dissey in 2000 on self-determination theory highlighted how intrinsic motivation, driven by competence and relatedness, leads to far greater well-being than external rewards. Third, establish conscious consumption windows. Treat social media not as an always-on ambient presence, but as a potent substance that requires careful, timed interaction. Decide exactly when and for how long you will engage with these platforms. For example, allocate 2 specific 10-minute windows during your day, one after breakfast and one after dinner. During these windows, have a specific purpose: to check on a particular friend, to read an article, or to interact with a specific community. Crucially, set a timer and adhere strictly to it. When the timer goes off, the app closes. This prevents the endless, aimless scroll that continuously feeds the status engine with comparison data. By creating these structured boundaries, you give your DACC time to rest, to disengage from the constant threat detection, and to re-engage with the tangible, present moment, reducing the chronic stress response. You are not merely observing human behavior anymore. You are observing the intricate machinery of your own mind and the minds of everyone around you. You now understand that the profound unease, the subtle pang of defeat you felt when scrolling, isn't a character flaw or a personal failing. It's an ancient survival system, hijacked by modern technology, sending distress signals about perceived status losses that trigger the same biological responses as actual physical threats. With this knowledge, you gain an immense power, the power to recognize these signals, to understand their origins, and to consciously choose how you respond. You can begin to see others with a new level of empathy, knowing that they too are navigating the powerful, often invisible currents of their own status engines. This isn't about being immune to comparison, but about no longer being enslaved by it. You have a blueprint to protect your inner world. This understanding is just the beginning of how behavioral science can permanently rewire your perception of yourself and others. This insight into the status engine is one lens, but there are countless other invisible forces at play, shaping our decisions, our feelings, and our reality every single day. The journey to truly master your mind is long, but immensely rewarding, and there is so much more to uncover.